So, and I don't like it. Thank you. The second objective is to maximize the reach of the anti-xenophobia message. The third objective is to stimulate a behavioral change to a positive identity. Now, you'll remember that in South Africa we had the first upswing, I think in 2008, of the xenophobic attacks. What we're beginning to ask ourselves is, what lessons did we learn from that, for an example? Because it happened in 2008. Now it's happening in 2015. Now, and therefore what we do need to specifically work on now is the question of your behavioral change, the mindset. And that's the point of emphasis, really. Because if we don't do that, it means all of us, ourselves as government and everybody else in society, will keep on reacting to the recurrence of such a particular problem as and when it opportunistically sort of rears its head. The last objective is to adopt a bottom-up approach which maximizes the voice and participation of grassroots communities. Now, in communities, we have various sort of perceptions, complaints, grievances, and whatever you may want to call it, and so on. And it would be important to begin to interact with a number of these particular concerns that are also articulated at various local community levels and so forth. And they need to find expression in one form or the other. And therefore, the mass education campaign should also, it's not a one-way thing. It's not like we need to go and tell people on the ground how they should feel and how they should behave and how they should think. But it should be a platform that is occupied in a two-way kind of manner. In other words, yes, we will have and may have particular ideas in terms of what we think the issues are and so forth, but of importance and quite fundamentally is the whole question of a feedback from communities in terms of how they perceive and how they deal with these particular issues, for instance, relating to foreign nationals and so it goes. Now, the third phase of the We Are One Humanity campaign is to engage the African continent on the xenophobic dialogue and with a view to showcase cultural diversity and celebrate oneness in humanity. Now, we do think that building up towards, building up towards, for an example, maybe let me say, starting in May, or maybe let me not start in May, and say that the dialogue, the intention is to have a dialogue at, let's say, towards October or immediately thereafter, whenever we'll decide. But this dialogue is going to be very important, and it will require participation right across societal spectrum. It will also require a engagement by various sort of sectors and their relevant sort of leadership in the African continent and so on, and begin to unpack some of these issues insofar as, yes, specifically matters of dialogue are concerned. Now, on the one hand, we have also been ourselves as the South African Police Service, for an example, been asking ourselves various questions, and it has been also our intention that at some point we should, during the course of the year, stage a national dialogue on the issue of prevalence and patterns of violence in our society. This belief that if I disagree with you, the disagreement must be settled through a punch or a knife edge, for an example. We need to confront some of those issues, even in the manner in which petty crime is executed, amongst other things, is largely accompanied by extreme acts of violence and so on. So this dialogue also will also much as it will be addressing itself to the issues of the xenophobic kind of matters as we had spoken to, but also as South Africans, it will also offer an opportunity for us to reflect and interrogate some of the patterns of behavior as we have them in our society. Essentially, the Africa in Dialogue platform will be used as a barometer where representatives from the African continent engage with each other with the intention to assess the impact of the We Are One Humanity Campaign initiative. In May is the Africa Month, and we are also looking at how the Africa Month has got to be celebrated. For example, celebrating Africa as the continent, and celebrating ourselves and our humanity as well. And in this regard, we will be using a platform of festivals and carnivals to bring together various cultures and showcasing diversity and the richness thereof, and celebrating unity in humanity. The fourth phase of the campaign, the We Are One Humanity campaign, is the thumbs up, your fingerprint. Now, I'm not sure whether you'll be able to capture this. Does it look like an... Yeah, it is. It's just that we couldn't find a better way. Maybe if you put it in the... We have developed a thumbprint, for an example, which resembles the African continent. Now, this thumbprint represents a number of things. Firstly, it is the same thumbprint that we'll also want to use in the campaign to say that we are one, we are Africa, all of us. It is also the same thumbprint that will also say, because we are one Africa, it is also correct to be legal in a foreign country, for an example. So it is also about identity, in a sense. So that's what the thumbprint is about. So we will also try and showcase basically this particular thumbprint as part of this mass mobilization campaign in working on the mindsets of our people. And through it, we're showing commitment to a xenophobic free lifestyle. We also, through the thumbprint, demonstrate commitment to legal settlement and getting registered if foreign. Because that's the issue also that largely has been raised. The question of the illegal foreigners in our country and so forth. So we, on the one hand, whilst we have got to deal with all the shortcomings that we have just witnessed, on the other hand, we should be able to encourage the question of being a legal person if we are foreign in South Africa. And in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we want to make a call that all our people should participate fully in this particular campaign to fight and eradicate xenophobia and all other forms of prejudice in our communities. We also make an appeal, particularly to yourselves as the media, to also help in propagating positive messages around the question of the fight against the xenophobia. In fact, let me also just take this opportunity to appreciate the earnest efforts that we have also witnessed from yourselves as the media. I saw in the first few days when this violence flared up, I saw the reaction by media houses, SABC for instance, hashtag We Are Africa, hashtag xenophobia and so forth, beginning to churn out positive messages around that. I've also had radio stations, including the radio station that I was listening to, which dishes out beautiful music on Sundays. they also were flighting, a specific message of the fight against xenophobia and the propagating the fact that we are all Africans and Africa is our home. And it is everyone's responsibility to work towards ensuring that all people are and feel safe. And therefore, when we conduct these community outreach programs, for instance, in partnership with a number of, state entities, for an example, and other stakeholders, including non-governmental organizations, the critical point of focus is to mobilize our people to actively participate in ensuring that we create a free and safe kind of and secure a kind of living environment for all of us as South Africans for purposes of development. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that